What do Argonians, magical sorcery, and aquatic Dwemer ruins have in common? Well, as it turns out, they have today's Mother Day in common, because today we're showcasing the expedition to Mzelthuand by Team Dreamy Dremora, composed of Greatness 7, Melchior Dog, and the Drunken Mud Crab. And basically, this mod adds a new mysterious Dwemer ruin to the inner sea outside the Bitter Coast, just sort of directly west of Hla Oad, in between the Terry-built mainland and the island of Ardenfell. And the expedition to Mzelthuand is a questing, dungeon-delving adventure companion mod that was originally released for the 2017 Morrowind Modding Madness competition. Just sort of continuing our retrospective here. And it was specifically released for the second challenge of that competition, which was a combined Dwemer and magic-themed challenge. The same challenge that the Deepwatch Abyss was released for. But without question, the expedition to Mzelthuand just really dominated this category by just really embracing the themes and creating one of the most unique dungeon and adventure mods really made for Morrowind. At least, unique in terms of the way that it uses magical elements to really enhance the dungeon delving and level design of this Dwemer ruin. But of course, the adventure doesn't actually begin with this Dwemer ruin. The adventure actually begins in Caldera, where you'll meet this strange Argonian playing darts in the local tavern. And as it turns out, he claims to have actually moved this Dwemer ruin from somewhere in the inner sea to just right outside Hla Oad. And now he needs a mage to just help him just sort of loot this Dwemer ruin. But he won't just accept anyone. First, you're going to need to pass a series of tests, and to do so, you're going to need to travel to his shack just outside of Hla Oad, which is, pretty noticeable because it has a ton of just Dwemer stuff around it, and it's also just directly behind the Imperial Dwemer Society, which is another mod that was released for this, for this same competition. But anyway, these tests involve just a variety of activities, like pushing a bunch of buttons and casting an ice spell at some drinks, just freezing them. Or, also casting a feather spell to lift a giant Dwemer cog and move it into the backyard. And honestly, it is pretty amazing just how well all this still works in a modern day Morrowind install. Like, this mod was built with just old school MWC. We did not have MWC Lua in 2017 when this was made. We just had old school MWC, which was basically just advanced MW script. And even with that limitation, the team managed to accomplish some truly unique gameplay effects, like being able to freeze water to get through one environment, or being able to cast a feather spell and actually just visually move a massive object. That is just an incredibly impressive feat for something that was made without MWC Lua, or OpenMW Lua for that matter. We didn't have either of those things back in 2017. And it really makes this dungeon mod just stand out for just how unique of an experience it is to delve through. Because you do need to have a pretty, wide-spanning knowledge of various magical spells in order to get through here. You need to be able to levitate, to breathe water, to have fire resistance, and to cast frost spells. And, just all these other things in order to get through this incredibly unique dungeon with just all these different environmental hazards. And, speaking of the dungeon, this does just have an incredibly unique dungeon design. Like, this Dwemer ruin it stands out, even to this day, for just how unique it looks and feels. There is nothing else quite like it out there for Morrowind. And to say the least, it is honestly one of the best quest mods we've probably seen come out of Morrowind Modding Madness. And again, it was built in 2 weeks' time. Like all these Madness mods that we've showcased so far, most of them were built in just a 2-week time span, and it is just incredible the modding feats that these modders can accomplish in just such a short amount of time. But anyway, in addition to the dungeon, there is the questing and adventure components with your new companion, Flimdar, who has hired you to basically loot this Dwemer dungeon. He has a fair bit of unique dialogue and, honestly, a pretty quirky personality, and as a note, you can upgrade his armor by just giving him just various bits of Dwemer scrap. But anyway, the main reason that you're here is to basically, solve all these various magical puzzles and eventually unlock the final room in this dungeon, which is just behind this sort of trans-dimensional warp gate thing, which, again, the things that this team managed to accomplish with just, old school NWC is just utterly insane. Like, the visual effect here is really just pretty amazing. But behind this portal, you'll find the gravity gun, which is, basically a portal gun. And unfortunately, this is the one thing that doesn't really work, at least as far as I can tell, with a modern Morrowind install. The idea behind the portal gun is to basically allow you to teleport around just by, like shooting it at an object, and then you teleport to that object. But unfortunately, I haven't been able to get it to work with a modern Morrowind install. So I don't think this currently works anymore. It might be broken. The rest of the quest mod, though, just works perfectly. Everything else works fine. It's just, the warp gun at the end that doesn't work. Which is unfortunate, and hopefully at some point, someone on the team will revisit this old mod and, maybe modernize it with NWC Lua, but until then, this is still just a questing, dungeon delving adventure mod that is absolutely still worth experiencing. Like, everything else works, and this is just a really unique, one-of-a-kind quest mod that is absolutely still worth playing. But anyway, that's just our mod of the day. So, as always, I've been your host, Dark Elf Guy. Thanks for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, happy modding, and I'll see you all next time.